God again today as we look at Insight to the End Times. As you know, if you've been following us, we are studying where we are on God's timetable, and we're looking at world events as they turn into or as they apply to the biblical scriptures of end time events. Today we're in Revelation chapter 16. We've been working our way through the judgments of God coming against the Antichrist and his followers and all the sinners on the earth who have not accepted Jesus, as outlined in Revelation chapters 6, 8, and 9, 11, and 16. And here we are in Revelation chapter 16, looking at the beginning of the 7 bowl judgments. Now, let me share some thoughts with you today. Revelation chapter 16, verse 1 says, I heard a voice from the temple saying to the 7 angels, go and pour out the bowls of the wrath of God on the earth. Wow. We're about to see some of the most atrocious outpourings of God's wrath on the earth that we've ever seen. So, let me give you some thoughts. These last 7 judgments, known as the Bowl Judgements or the Vial Judgments, are going to be the deadliest plagues to ever hit the face of the earth. Now, you'll remember in the book of Exodus that God used 10 plagues to free his people, the nation of Israel, the Hebrews, from the Pharaoh and the Egyptians. Those were pretty deadly plagues themselves. The last one was the death plague, when the death angel flew over and killed all firstborn, children, animals, etc., unless they had the blood of the Lamb on the doorpost and side posts of the doors. Then the death angel would pass over. But those plagues pale in comparison to what's going to hit the earth during these 7 trumpet judgments. Now, I was trying to ascertain exactly when bowl judgments. I was trying to ascertain when these bowl judgments will be poured out. And it's a little unclear. But let me give you this set of scriptures. In Revelation chapter 11, which we studied this past week, we're talking about the 2 witnesses. And we're talking about the fact that they were killed and laid on the streets in Jerusalem for 3.5 days. And we also noted that from the scriptures, it appears that these are the last 4 days of life on the earth, being that 3.5 days they laid on the earth, on the streets, before they were resurrected and raptured into heaven. And then the next verse, 13, says, on the same day, in the same hour, a great earthquake came to the earth, and it caused great destruction. And then verse 15 follows that and says that the 7th trumpet sounds. That's the last trumpet of the 2nd set of judgments. And it ushers in the 7 bowl judgments, which we're about to reveal and study. It also concludes the 2nd woe and releases the 3rd woe. And that leads to the Battle of Armageddon. So it appears from these scriptures that we're talking about the last couple of hours or the last couple of days at best, when all of these things are going to be poured out on the earth. There's a transition about to happen. Jesus Christ is coming back, and he will defeat the armies of the Antichrist and all the other parties involved on the last day of the tribulation in the Battle of Armageddon, and he will then assume his role as the new king of the kingdom for 1,000 years. So I cannot give you actual details as to what days this is occurring, but it's in the very, very last week or so. Anyways, enough said. You just don't want to be here for it. That's all there is. We have previously shared with you the 4 classes of people that will be on the earth when these the 7th trumpet sounds and we enter into the 7 bowl judgments. Number 1, Antichrist and his followers. Number 2, sinners, people who have refused to accept Jesus Christ as Lord. Then in addition to that group of people, we're going to have the saved Jewish people the ones who have made Jesus Lord, that God has protected during the second half of the tribulation. And thirdly, or fourthly, I should say, we will have the believers who were saved during the second half of the tribulation, because they refuse the mark of the beast and they refuse to worship the image of the beast. So these judgments are going to come against the first two: Satan, his man, the Antichrist, and his followers, his army, as well as all the sinners who have refused to accept Jesus Christ as Lord. They're blaspheming God. It's unbelievable. So let's get into some of these bowl judgments from Revelation chapter 16, verse number 2. Number 1, the first judgment. These are sores and boils. Here's what it reads. The first went out and poured out his bowl upon the earth. A foul, loathsome sore came upon the men who had the mark of the beast and those who worship the image of the beast. These are painful boils. Men will suffer great pain, fever, infection, you name it. And they'll probably wish they had died before this. It's going to be so painful. This only affects those who are the wicked, the sinners, the Antichrist followers, the ones who took the mark of the beast, the ones who worship the image of the beast. Secondly, the second bowl. This is verse 3. The second angel poured out his bowl on the sea, and it became blood as of a dead man, and every living creature in the sea died. This is the culmination of what started out as a second trumpet judgment. And that's when 1/3 of the ocean waters, sea waters, were turned into blood. Sea creatures died and the ship sank. 1/3 of everything. In this case, we're going to complete that. This second bowl judgment is going to be poured out upon all the remaining waters that have not turned to blood. And all the sea creatures that have not previously died will die, and all the ships are going to sink, and all the people on board are going to drown in the blood. What a mess that is going to be. But I hope you see what's occurring here. This bowl judgment is completing or perfecting the previous trumpet judgment. So God gave them a forewarning. 1/3 will be destroyed. Now it's the remainder. Let's go on. Third judgment, third bowl judgment, verse number 4 and following verses. These domestic waters will be turned into blood. The third angel poured out his bowl on the rivers and springs of water, and they became blood. And I heard an angel of the waters say, "You are righteous, O Lord, the one who is and who was and who is to be, because you have judged these things. For these have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and you have given them blood to drink, for it is their past due, their just due." And I heard another one from the altar saying, "Even so, Lord Almighty, true and righteous are your judgments." Wow, this one is really heavy duty. Over in the trumpets, we had the third trumpet judgment turned the fresh waters on the earth into wormwood or bitterness. And anyone who drank of that became really, really ill, really, really sick. But now these fresh waters are being totally turned into blood. Unbelievable, totally turned into blood. It's the blood of a deep wound that is flowing, gushing forth. And here we have not a drop of water available to drink, not a drop of water available to bathe in or wash your hands or to freshen up with. Everything is blood. You turn on every tap, blood flows out. There won't be any water to drink. People will end up drinking blood. Wow, what a horrible situation. Tomorrow, we'll go a little deeper, finish up some more of these bowl judgments. See you then. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.